starting with the first product, dental product. The first product we are starting with today is dental product. Dental product. Now, you might not be a medical person, but you don't mind selling a medical product. You can be a supplier of this product in other parts of Africa. Under the AFCFTA, we'll be trading in different things. We'll be trading in manufactured goods. We'll be trading in agro-ally. And we'll be trading in minerals. And we'll be trading in services. So trading goods, which include agri manufactured and minerals, and also trading services. Trading services. Now, I've also advocated in the past about the need for us to really take the concept of contract production seriously. So anytime I deal with finished product, it reminds me of my plea for every one of us interested in export to think of contract production and not be worried about they themselves being part of the production. Here is dental product. And the importer of dental products includes South Africa, Nigeria, Morocco, Kenya, Angola, Sudan, Cote d'Ivoire, Rwanda, Uganda, and the like. The total amount of import being done by Africa is over $300 million. But there are people producing these products in Africa that also export them. And it's interesting to know that Nigeria is currently among the few countries in Africa that export dental products. That means you stand a chance. You stand a chance to export dental products. You stand a chance to export dental products. You stand a chance to export dental products. Why? Because there are manufacturers in Nigeria like any other product. And remember, don't think of yourself as a manufacturer. Rather, don't think of yourself as a manufacturer. Rather, think of yourself as a distributor. And that's why I've been talking so much, so frequently on contract production. That's why I've been talking so much and so frequently on contract production. Why? Because that is the way to go. That is the way to go. That is the way to go. For those just joining us, the idea around contract production is a situation where I represent manufacturers in Nigeria in different parts of Africa under the AFCFTA. I represent manufacturers in Nigeria in different parts of Africa under the AFCFTA. That's the basic idea. I represent them, and in representing them, what am I doing basically? In representing them, I'm doing one, looking for market. Two, coordinating the distribution channel. Three, buying from the manufacturer and selling in that market. Giving feedback to the manufacturer. Requesting for necessary modification where required. Requesting for necessary modification where required. Requesting for necessary modification where required. Where required. Where required. Someone said, okay, the Facebook page, just search for 3T Impest Trade Academy. 3T Impest Trade Academy. Facebook.com/3T Impest 3T Impest Trade Academy. Facebook.com/3T Impest Trade Academy. For those that want to join us on Facebook, Facebook.com/3T Impest Trade Academy. All right. Sorry, that link is not right. Let me send the right one. 3T Impest was written twice. Yes, this is the correct one. Facebook.com/3T Impest Trade Academy. Yeah, this is the correct one. I just dropped the correct one now. Okay, so as I was saying, major buyers in Africa for dental products. You know, South Africa is a market to beat, but you notice South Africa also exports it. Egypt is a major exporter. The Egyptians are major exporter of this product in Africa. As usual, because it's needed for human consumption and growth, you can see that the trend line shows a continuous growth. The trend line shows a continuous growth. The trend line shows a continuous growth in the demand for this product on the African continent. It shows an increase in the demand for this product on the African continent. Remember the major buyers: South Africa, Nigeria, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ghana, Morocco are major markets to consider if you are thinking of dealing in dental-related products. So who are your competitors? Who are those that you have to compete with or contend with if you are going into the export market? Egyptian, Tanzanian, South African, and of course, Nigeria. Now, look at another interesting product. Another very, very interesting product. You know, there are different manufacturers of mattress in Nigeria. I'm of the opinion that if we take this seriously, I'm of the opinion that if we take this very seriously, and I mean the concept I sell to you every week on contract manufacturing, sincerely, I am very, very confident that AFCFTA will be a success in Nigeria. Look, sometimes we are just afraid of some country unnecessarily. Some people have issue with AFCFTA. You know, it's not only Nigeria that have that issue. Do you know what I discovered? I saw a news this week. No, I think last week, about the fact that over 70% of companies in Ghana are not aware of AFCFTA. That news is a peculiar news, I must tell you. And the reason is this. Ghana is the secretariat of AFCFTA. The Secretary General of AFCFTA His Excellency Ambassador Wankele Mene from South Africa is going to be operating from Ghana. Nigeria bidded for that secretariat. But while Nigeria was busy bickering and back and forth on we will sign, we will not sign, we will sign, we will not sign, two people that bidded for the secretariat were Nigeria and Ghana. But Ghana won. Ghana took it. Because when Nigeria refused to sign, no more opposition for Ghana. No more opposition for Ghana. So Ghana donated a building to AU for the AFCFTA. So they launched that building just a few months ago. But it's amazing that that same Ghana, many are not aware. Now, what will you say about Nigeria? I'm sure many people are not aware of AFCFTA in Nigeria. Probably more than 80-90% of businesses in Nigeria, if Ghana is 70, where the headquarters reside. If Ghana is 70, where the headquarters reside. If Ghana is 70, where the headquarters reside, what do you expect? What do you expect in a place like Nigeria? What do you expect in a place like Nigeria? It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing because just like Ghana and Nigeria, many companies will not be aware of AFCFTA until they start in 1 month's time, January 1. It was scheduled to start in July. But because of the COVID-19, it was extended to January. Now that we know it's going to start in January, now that we know Nigeria has approved ratification, I think it's high time Nigeria begin to plan to take advantage of it. So my recommendation for contract manufacturing is a way of supporting manufacturers to boost their production, creating market for them, and handling that market on their behalf. So mattress is another one. You and I know a number of Nigerian brands producing mattress. So Nigeria is a manufacturer of mattress. The import volume of mattress is $264 million. Who are the importers? Who are the importers? Mozambique, South Africa, Mozambique, Egypt, Algeria, Angola, Morocco, Libya, Kenya, Ghana. These are the major buyers. Who are the sellers in Africa? Tanzania, South Africa, Tunisia, Uganda, Morocco, Senegal, Egypt. You know, there's so much opportunity in manufactured goods, but for one reason or the other, we stay with commodity. Commodity. Commodity has not helped us in any way. So it's high time we stay away from commodity, or we add value to that commodity to create a job that is needed in Africa. We are of the opinion that, look, as a business, 3D Best Trade Academy, we want to use our own services to contribute to the sustainable development goals in 3 areas. And that's why we do this actually. Reduction of poverty, reduction of inequality, and reduction of hunger. And we strongly believe, because of the tendency and the power of trade to create jobs, you know, I read when Obama came in first time, he realized that out of every $1 billion export from America, I think about 500,000 jobs were created, about 500,000, if I'm not mistaken. And he set up a committee with the president of Boeing, the plane manufacturer, as the chairman, and they were reporting to him directly. And they were reporting to him directly. Why? One of the engine room for job creation, poverty eradication, reduction of inequality, reduction of unemployment, reduction of hunger is through trade. The more a country trade, the more jobs is created. Because the factory will keep growing and expanding and building capacity to meet the demand. And that's the idea behind the AFCFTA. To be able to create jobs, to enable, create a low-hanging fruit that enable Africans to trade together in order to create jobs within Africa. That's what AFCFTA is all about. That's what AFCFTA is useless if it doesn't affect an average man on the street in Ghana, in Kano, in Lesotho, in Namibia, in Zimbabwe. It's useless. And I'm saying if we can team up with our manufacturers, we can do a lot in making this happen by being their representative across the African continent where there are markets for this product. Where there are markets for this product. So, as usual, trend line is growing because of increasing demand for this product on the continent. Trend line is growing because of the increasing demand for the product on the continent. Please, I would love to start export business of foodstuff. How much do I need to start? We would also love to work with your expert. How much do I need to start? That depends on a number of factors. But I can recommend that if you have $1 million plus, you can start exporting processed food items. And you can and it can be in your own brand. It can be in your own brand. It can be in your own brand. I don't know if I've answered that question. If you want to get across to me, you will see a number on the screen when we are rounding off. You can always get across to me through that number. All right. So remember, before we leave Mattress, the market are South Africa, Angola, Morocco, Libya, Algeria, and a host of others. While the competitors, if you want to export it, are South Africans. Remember, Nigeria already produced this, so we have enough. Tunisia, or Uganda, Mali, and Kenya, Coconut oil, I'm sure this will resonate with so many people. SME who are into different kind of oil. It's amazing that Africa imports more coconut oil than it's producing. Africa imports more coconut oil than is exporting. Coconut oil is almost $150 million. $100 million is actually about 50 billion naira. So $143 million is actually about 70 billion dollars. Sorry, billion naira. So you see that a lot of opportunity there, right? A lot of business and market there, right? If you know someone into coconut oil, ask them, what effort are they making to sell in Africa? There is a market for them in Egypt, in South Africa, in Kenya, in Tunisia, in Mali, in Algeria, in Morocco, there is market. And I'm also glad to know that Nigeria is part of the exporters. Because I've seen a lot of coconut oil with different businesses in Nigeria. But sincerely, it's glad to know that all the coconuts in Badagry and the one we bring in from Cotonou are not wasted. All the coconuts in Badagry and the one we bring in from Cotonou are not wasted. At least we are able to utilize this coconut to produce coconut oil. I'm an advocate of value addition. I strongly believe we must add value, and that if we don't add value, we are just working for others. So with this, I'm glad to see that competitors include, even though the export is very small, I mean, just about $49 million. Very small when you compare it to what we're importing. So obviously, we need to step up in the level of production of coconut oil in Africa. But it's good to know that Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, Gabon, Togo, Tanzania, Benin are all major markets. So if you have been thinking of coconut oil, or you sell locally, or you have access to the source, maybe it's time to consider it right now. If you have access to the source, maybe it's time to consider it right now. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to be the owner. Remember, you don't need to be the manufacturer, rather, someone else can produce on your behalf. But what is important, what is essential, what is critical for you is that this product will step up the increase in production and we sell to different markets in Africa. And if we are going to be able to do that, we need you. We need you. We need you. We need everyone who are not producers to consider adding it. To consider adding it as part of the bouquet. To consider adding it as part of the bouquet of items they want to consider for export. Do you know the interesting thing about being a merchant, again, is that you are very free. You are very free. You are extremely free to do different products. Don't you understand? Different products. To do different products. You are very free. Interesting, right? You are not married to a product. You just look for different products that have potential and you simply work with them. Different products that have potential and you simply work with them. And you simply work with them. Why is that important? That is important because as far as you are concerned, if a product is not doing well again, don't be married to any product. Only be married to result. You know, there's a book titled Built to Last. That book said, don't give up on the business, but you can give up on a product. Built to last. He said, don't give up on the business, but you can give up on the product. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Do not give up on the business, but if a product is not moving, or there is Anything can happen, by the way, that can really affect product, such that a product might not be as good or as fantastic as it used to be. Let me give you an example. I was talking to someone that worked in a company producing flowers in Nigeria. One of the companies producing flowers in Nigeria. And I was saying that business might not be, if they don't begin to source their wheat from Africa, that decision to sign AfCFTA might make them to have more competitors locally, which is why a number of Nigerian businesses were against AfCFTA. We are using the pain of the immediate to take a decision. As in, you are using permanent solution to temporary problem. Unless we all think we will remain like this forever, at least this year make us to know that some things are still possible in our country in terms of people standing up to demand for what they feel is very important for us to do as a nation. And that gives hope. That gives hope. But we were going to take a decision solely on the basis of the fact that, no, we are not ready. We are not this. We are not that. And I'm asking myself, the fact that we are not this and that today does not mean we will not be able to do it tomorrow. So we can't take a permanent solution for a temporary problem, sincerely. And that was what we were about to do with the decision that we're going to take in not being part of AfCFTA, and sincerely, posterity will not forgive us. Because when other people begin to enjoy the benefit as Africa begins to grow and trade together, we will be excluded. Or we have to go and negotiate to WTO to be part of it. But that's behind us now. That's behind us now. Coconut oil, another fantastic product that I think is worth considering. Can you see the trend line is growing? Like I said, trend line will keep growing as long as a product is needed for our survival. It's something we use. And the beauty of coconut oil is that it's edible, at the same time it's used in cosmetics. So it has multiple usage. It's edible, and at the same time it's used in cosmetics. So it has multiple usage, multiple usage, multiple usage, multiple usage. Remember, who are your market? If you want to export coconut oil, South Africa is a major market. South Africa take up 26%. Egyptians is another market, 24%. Kenya, another market, 9.4%. Tunisia is another market, 7.01%. Mali is another market, 4.16%. And then if you must export, who are the competing countries? Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Cameroon, Gabon, to mention a few. Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Cameroon, Gabon, to mention a few. To mention a few. Another product worth considering is wheat flour. Wow. Wow. I just mentioned wheat not quite long. Wheat flour. You know, businesses in Nigeria that are into production of flour, we need to deal with this. Obviously, Nigeria is not doing so much in volume because I know that Nigerian import of wheat is over $1 billion or around $1 billion. And I mean 1 billion. That's almost 500 billion naira is being used to import wheat into Nigeria. These are not my view. These are data from the National Bureau of Statistics. These are data. So top 10 import item in Nigeria every year, wheat is part of it. Top 10 imports in Nigeria every year, wheat is part of it. And we do a lot of import from the US. We do a lot of import from the US. We do quite a number of import from the US. We do quite a number of import from the US. Wheat flour. Wheat flour. So, Nigeria produces a lot of wheat flour. Nigeria produces a lot of wheat flour, and it's very important. It's very important for us to know that quantum of wheat flour being produced by Nigeria. But I can't see Nigeria as one of the exporters here, even though Nigeria has a lot of company producing it, from Honeywell to Flour Mill and probably some other smaller producers. So here we have importer of wheat. So if you are thinking of exporting it, please, what are the benefits of major AFCFTA for Nigerian exporter, if you can briefly touch on that? Benefit of AFCFTA is that it enables Nigerian exporters to export to other African countries at a cheaper rate. Pretty much duty-free at a cheaper rate. That's one of the benefits. It enables Nigerian to export to other African countries at a cheaper rate. That means we can do more volume. That means we can take away the market that other non-African countries already enjoy in Africa from them. That means we can take away the market that other non-African countries enjoy in African countries away from them. That's the benefit of AFCFTA. So AFCFTA benefits us in the sense that it enables African countries to do more volume. And when you do more volume as a business, the natural tendency is to expand. When your demand is high, you expand. When you expand, you hire more people. You get more machines, you get more people, you create more jobs, you increase wealth, you boost GDP. That is the whole idea on export. That is the whole idea on export. That is the whole idea on export. That is the whole idea as far as export is concerned. That is the whole idea with respect to export. That is the whole idea with respect to export. And this is extremely important for us to be aware of this. So major buyer of wheat, Angola. So if you want to export wheat, remember again, you don't need to be a manufacturer. Wheat flour production, of course, is capital intensive. You want to partner with Honeywell, you want to partner with Flour Mill, you want to partner with any other flour producing company in Nigeria and be their distributor in Angola, be their distributor in DRC Congo, be their distributor in Somalia, be their distributor in Madagascar, be their distributor in Eritrea, be their distributor in Libya, be their distributor in Benin, in Ghana, in Togo, be their distributor in Burkina Faso, be their distributor in Niger, be their distributor in Djibouti, and be their distributor in Syria alone. So you have different places that you can be their distributor. So what does this do for you? It makes it easier for you to be able to trade. Remember, you don't necessarily have to be a manufacturer. A lot of import into Nigeria today are being done by the number of import into Nigeria today were being purchased from merchant middlemen. In fact, to tell you how serious the issue of merchant and middlemen are, or is to Nigeria, CBN came up with a regulation to reduce how much middlemen we can buy from. I think it's that serious. To reduce how much middlemen we can deal with is that serious. Sincerely, is that serious. Is that serious. Because of the quantum of middlemen and how much of our FX go to them. This was just released recently, very recent. I mean, very, very recently. I mean, very, very recently. Very, very recently. There was still a circular this week on this issue. So it's a big deal in the world to have middlemen between manufacturer and end user. Normal. That's why we have transferable letter of credit, for those that are aware of that. For those that know about the concept of transferable letter of credit, that is why we have transferable letter of credit. That's why we have back-to-back letter of credit. Those instruments will not be necessary if there is no middleman, if there is no merchant in between the manufacturer and the end user, or manufacturer and the retailer, or manufacturer and the customer or the importer. So in this case, you have market in Angola, in DRC, in Somalia, in Madagascar, in Eritrea, in Benin Republic, in Libya, in Burkina Faso, in Ghana, in Togo, in Djibouti, and Sierra Leone. How about competitors? If you want to export this product, please remember that Ghana is there to compete with you. Egyptians are there to compete with you. Tanzanians are there to compete with you. Cote d'Ivoire and the Ivorians are there to compete with you. South Africa, Burundi, and you can see the volume of our export 402, more like half of the volume of our import. So there's a lot of gap to cover. There's a lot of gap to cover. Remember the competitors: Egyptian, Tanzania, Ghanaian, Cote d'Ivoire, and Uganda. And the major market: Angola, DRC, Congo, Somalia, Madagascar, Eritrea, and others. Sorghum. 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 Sorghum is a commodity, a grain that is used in producing malt and beer. A very important grain in brewing. Sorghum is of essence in the drink industry, of great importance rather. So Nigeria, Africa is still importing more than it's exporting. Africa is importing more, and Nigeria produces sorghum. Nigeria produces sorghum. Who are the importers of sorghum in Africa? Number one, Kenya. Then Sudan, South Sudan, Somalia, Djibouti, South Africa, and Eritrea. By the way, Eritrea is not a market you should consider right now. Out of the 55 countries in Africa, the only country that is yet to sign the AfCFTA, as at my last check, is Eritrea. The country that is yet to sign the AfCFTA, as at my last check, is Eritrea. I'm not sure if they will sign tomorrow, but at my last check, they are yet to sign. 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 For a reason best known to them. Anyway, the beauty is that it's a small country. You know, we're going to be checking out each of these countries later on. We're going to be checking their GDP. We're going to be checking their per capita income. We're going to be checking their GNI. We're going to be checking the market available. We're going to be checking a lot of things about them when we begin to analyze the market. That's when we begin to go from one country to the other. We're not going to go through, at least I have on my record right now, 50 countries in Africa we're going to go through. And we're going to deal with each country every week. We're going to deal with each country every week. We might be spending about maybe 30 minutes instead of 1 hour, but we'll be dealing with each country every week, starting from 3 weeks time. We are going to round off next week. Next week, we are going to have the last episode, last set of products. But upper week, we are going to do summary. So first week of December, we're going to do a summary of all we have discussed. I'm going to run through all the products under an hour. And then second Thursday in December, we're going to start a new series that will carry us till late next year, actually. Because that new series is going to have, we're going to be dealing with each country on its own merit. What does that country import? What are the opportunities and benefits in that country? What is the peculiarity of that country? Those are the things we're going to be looking at in the, starting from December. So I've been able to get at least 50 contracts or 55, at least the big fish. We have them. Maybe we'll not be able to do for all of them, but at least the big fish, we have it. All right, let's continue. Kenya, Sudan, South Sudan, Somalia, Djibouti, South Africa, Eritrea are your major country to consider for sorghum because they are major importers in Africa. Who are the competitors? Who are the people that you need to look out for? Who are the exporters? Kenya, Ugandan, even though our export is small, $31 million, so small. But Kenya, Ugandan, Sudan, South Africans are major exporters. And the trend line also is growing, but not so much. But so the competing countries you need to look out for or watch out for are Kenya, Sudan, Uganda, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. Okay, let's look at the last one, second to the last today. We still have 2 to go. We still have 2 to go, yeah? Okay, yeah. Groundnut. I'm happy to see that Africa exports more groundnut than it imports. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Good to see, good to know that Africa exports more groundnut than is importing. I think that's a very sharing news. I think that's a very sharing news. I think that's a very, very sharing news. It's a sharing news because if we can't do well in agri, then where are we going to do well? Considering the fact that we're likely agrarian economy. So if you want to import, if you want to export and you're looking for market for groundnut, Algeria, South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Libya, and Tunisia are market to consider. And on the other hand, if you are looking for market to export, those that are exporting that you are competing with, Egyptians, 26%, they are sharing that with Senegal. Senegal and Egyptians are doing 52% of export of groundnut from Africa to other African countries or to outside Africa. Sudan is there, 18%, Malawi, 6.4%, South Africa, 5.12%, Madagascar, 2.8%, Tanzania, 2.26%, Ethiopia, 2.66%, and Uganda, 1.91%. Of course, the trend line for groundnut will keep increasing because of the demand for that product on the African continent. Before we go today, ceramic. Do you know what ceramic product is? Tiles. Tiles. When you think of tiles, think of bricks, the red bricks, those are ceramic. You think of the WC, that's ceramic. You think of wash and basin, that's ceramic. You see the top of a number of ceramic products. A number of ceramic products that we use in different homes. And the major part of this is actually tiles. And there are manufacturers of tiles in Nigeria. But you know what? Let me tell you why this is so important. The market for ceramic import in Africa is $3.62 billion, and Nigeria is taking about 10% of it. $3.62 billion. South Africans are the major buyers, followed by Nigeria, Algeria, Egyptians, and Morocco. This is a huge market. This is a very huge market. This is a very, very huge. If there's a product you are interested in that Nigeria is not producing enough, you know what to do? You can actually export it from one African country to another African country, not necessarily from Nigeria. So don't think only from Nigeria. If it's a product you are very much familiar with, you know, you understand, and there's no enough production in Nigeria. But ceramic is very interesting for me. Nigeria, Africa is doing, can you imagine the production? You know, Egypt and South Africa, you know, when you look at the top economy in Africa, Nigeria, Algeria, South Africa, Morocco, and Egypt. Egypt and South Africa seems to be doing so well, plus Morocco. I'm talking in terms of manufacturing. I'm talking in terms of manufacturing. Egyptians and South Africans, even though the market of our export is so small, they are taking up a very huge chunk of that. A very huge chunk of that. A very large chunk of that. More than 76% actually. Almost 77%. Almost 77%. Importer, the exporter of ceramic. Remember, they are bricks, and remember, you don't need to be producers. The trend line is growing also because of the growing demand in Africa. And remember your competitors, South Africa, Egypt, Zambia, Tunisia, and Tanzania. All right.